What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Night Terrors Action Comics issue number 1. This one is written by a couple people because there's more than one story in this thing. So you have the Power Girl, No Strings Attached, and then the Cyborg Superman Rises storyline. So let's go ahead and talk about these two really quickly. So the first one here is written by Leah Williams, and the artist is Vasco Georgiev, and multiple other people on colors and all that. And again, this is a Night Terrors tie-in. But in all honesty, it doesn't really advance the Night Terror storyline so much. It's kind of like the Catwoman issue from last week, where basically that was more of a like kind of building on the Catwoman run as opposed to really building up Night Terrors. There's no Insomnia making an appearance in this thing, so it's kind of like more so like building on like the comic book run that came before it. So if you're reading Action Comics, like this kind of fits right in with kind of like Night Terrors kind of like breezy, like maneuvering itself into the storyline without really like advancing the Night Terror stuff all that much, because basically everyone has their nightmares and they deal with their fears and insecurities, if you will, so you kind of get the gist of it all. A mysterious and deadly new villain named Insomnia has struck the entire world. Let me read that a little closer. A mysterious and deadly new villain named Insomnia has struck. The entire world has been forced into eternal slumber, including all the heroes and villains, as Insomnia searches their dreams for the Nightmare Stone. Can the heroes survive being trapped within their darkest fears? This time, it's Power Girl, not Supergirl. At first, I thought it was going to be Kara, and it was going to tie into the Superman stuff by Joshua Williamson. Then it was revealed to be Power Girl. I mean, they're very, very similar, except for like a bit of a noticeable difference, which a lot of people know. But anyways, it's kind of her fears, insecurities, like being rejected by the Superman family and just kind of being an outcast, seen as kind of worthless, and all sorts of different things. You have Omen in there, so it's kind of tying into her books going on, and it ends on a bit of a cliffhanger, her worried that things are going to kind of change and restart, if you will. So that's that one in the nutshell. So that was the first storyline. The second one is written by Philip Kennedy Johnson and artist Miko Swan and Faiko Asiu. But anyway, so this is like the same deal. Lots of various members of the Superman family are having a sleepover. You have Connor, you have Kenan, you have the twins, and I think that's Natasha Irons, if you will, Kelax, Crypto, and all that. They're watching a little bit of a scary movie. They fall into a bit of a slumber. I see a chainsaw there, so it could be really anyone. And yeah, so like I said, dealing with the fallout of like the previous Action Comic stuff and their fears and insecurities, and the return of Cyborg Superman has it keeping up at night. There's some pretty nightmarish looking images right here. I think, like I said, I really like the art in the second half right here with Cyborg Superman. There's one image in particular that really kind of stands out to me, and that's when he kind of pops out of the TV like Samara from The Ring, if you will. And you have the Super family, like, you know, who's here, not necessarily John, you have Kenan, you know, and all that right here, and just they're kind of battling him out, if you will. So that's kind of where the issue ends in a nutshell. Doesn't do much to build upon Night Terrors, but it's more so kind of connected to the Action Comic stuff that's going on right now, which has been pretty solid for the most part in terms of the Superman stuff. But like I said, it doesn't do much to advance the Night Terror storyline. So, which is why I just am trying to figure out, like, do we really need this as another tie-in to Night Terrors? Like, where is Insomnia in half this stuff? He's supposed to be looking for the Nightmare Stone, but for the majority of the time, he's not in most of these issues. Like, why even have that little added tagline on there if he's not really in these characters' dreams looking for the Nightmare Stone? Have him just show up briefly, like he's Freddy Krueger or something. I know I've mentioned this a bunch of times, but it's kind of something that's kind of bugging me, right? We're halfway through this event, and the main villain has hardly shown up in a lot of these various tie-ins, making them, if you're trying to get the whole checklist, feel kind of not really part of it. But I mean, as an issue on its own, I think the issues are fine and sufficient. They have great looking artwork. Between the two stories, I think I like the Power Girl section a little bit more, although I am a fan of what Philip Kennedy Johnson did on the World stuff and what he's done with Superman for a bit. I think he's done a very good job, and you know, I'm liking this Power Girl stuff of just the storyline a little bit more. I think I like the art more in the second story more, but just the story and kind of dealing with in Power Girl, who, like I said earlier on, at first I was thinking, oh, this could be Kara, and this is how she breaks from the dream world and ties into the Williamson Night Terror Superman book that we saw. But no, it's not quite that. It's something else, though. But yeah, so if you're looking at this to kind of forward the Night Terror storyline, doesn't really do much. You could probably skip it in that regards, but if you're a fan of the Action Comic stuff that's going on, then this kind of adds more to that. So yeah, I guess it's the normal creative teams working on those books. So, I mean, if you're reading Action Comics, then I guess continue to read this one. You get more of the characters you like. But if you're looking for something that really kind of builds this Night Terror storyline, like adds to it, then this one really doesn't do it. It's just kind of another side story, if you will, that has almost little to no connection other than they're in the nightmare world. There's no insomnia. There's no hints of a nightmare stone. But it is kind of what it is. So take it for what it's worth. I thought it was perfectly serviceable, but like in terms of building Night Terrors, not so much. But in terms of just like a standalone Action Comics like issue, I thought, you know, it was pretty fine for the most part. So with some great looking artwork. So I mean, the artwork has been really good in a lot of these things. I think my favorite standout moment was Cyborg Superman power, like kind of like emerging through the TV like this is straight out of the ring. So I like that aspect to it. But in terms of building up the Night Terrors event, it doesn't really do much. So you could probably skip it overall. I mean, you're not going to really miss much altogether. But like I said, if you want to see the twins and all that, then, or, you know, other Superman family characters, then I guess pick this thing up. So, but anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this particular issue. I still got to go around to read the other comic books. I mean, it's like already kind of later on in the day. I have not had any time at all to get through these things. I kind of read this one briefly on my lunch break and then just work, then back to this. And then I'm going to try and read the other issues and try and power out those videos between tonight and tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. So it's going to take a minute. But anyways, if you have any thoughts on this particular issue, let me know in the comment section down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, all that other fun stuff. And as always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.